Hello everyone, welcome today to the 2025 Maserati GranCabrio Trofeo. Very lucky to have this car for a few days to test out, and we're gonna go take it on a quick drive and see how this 540-ish horsepower twin turbo V6 handles out on the road. We have a lot of nice stuff in this car, really gorgeous interior, but we also have a pretty nice powertrain. Yes, it may not be the V8 of the past, but I actually quite like this engine. It's responsive, quick, sounds good in person, doesn't come across too well on camera, I've noticed. Infotainment's really quick. Everything works pretty well actually in this car. Of course, it is a convertible. We can take the top down. We have air scarf, 8-speed ZF automatic transmission mounted right down below us. Over here we have all-wheel drive, air suspension, ELSD out back, Maserati's adaptive skyhook suspension as well, so you can change that on the fly. Plenty of drive modes to cycle through as well, from Corsa, Sport, GT, and Comfort. Engine start stop button over here, and these gorgeous metal paddle shifters right on the steering rack over here. I love these. So let's head out, see how this car handles out on the road, and see if it really lives up to the Maserati name. Let's come off. We have a push button gear selector in the center over here, which is interesting. I haven't been the biggest fan of this over the course of the week. It's honestly had some issues, but once you're going, the car feels fantastic, and I think Maserati has done a great job in this latest generation GranCabrio and Gran Turismo of blending that high performance nature while also adding in that kind of GT luxury feel in here. This is a Grand Tourer after all at the end of the day, and we'll get to why I don't think it's the best Grand Tourer. I might want to go for the coupe version versus this cabriolet, but driving experience wise, I actually think this is quite nice, and I think it fits that Grand Tourer name quite well. We're going over some broken pavement over here, and this air suspension combined with the adaptive dampers does, I think, a great job at really soaking up the bumps. It doesn't feel stiff. If you go to like a high-end M car, or if you go to a high-end AMG car, even the GLA 35 these days are really stiff over these broken pavements. This balances it out very well. It has that grand touring effect. We even have auto stop start, as you can see right here. Instantly puts it into the sport suspension system. Coming around corners, grip is pretty high actually, especially with this all-wheel drive system. I really was impressed with that over the course of this week. And in sport mode, it really opens itself up, especially the exhaust. And even in this sport damper setting, you can instantly pop it over to comfort dampers here, and even broken pavement makes this car still feel pretty dynamic. Love the paddle shifters, really responsive. And this ZF, you know, the Stellantis group, at least the Italian side of it, has really found a great way of tuning this gearbox really well. Very strong brakes, as we would expect out of a Trofeo model. And I have to say, I do quite like this car. Is it expensive? Yes. Do a lot of people wish it had the V8? Yes, and honestly, I do too in some applications. This V6 is really characterful. It's very responsive. I think it has a great engine note, like I mentioned in person. Good power as well. It puts the power down very well. But you know, it's just not as special as that raucous, louder V8 of the past GranCabrio and Gran Turismo that was derived from Ferrari. You know, high revving, naturally aspirated there. This is a very different nature of this car. And the one thing though, I think, is Maserati has done a great job at kind of characterizing each of the drive modes to really fit this engine. This was really discussed well with the MC20 supercar, which also shares this engine, a little bit more power, flipped around of course from mid-engine format. But I like how this car can totally change its persona. So in comfort, it really is genuinely comfort. The throttle response is a little bit softer. The exhaust quiets down until you kind of break it into those higher RPM range, and the suspension really is honestly just great for daily driving. Really no complaints there whatsoever. GT is really a good blended mode, I would say. It gives you that performance when you want it. You have a little bit more throttle response. Everything's a little bit more attuned to, you know, if you want to take a little bit more performance control out of the car, you have that ability to. So that's also a nice mode here. And of course, instantly next up is the sport mode, and that really does heighten things a little bit more. Your throttle response is a little bit more aggressive. Steering definitely gets much sharper, and the steering rack is a little bit on the light side, but it's incredibly precise in all applications, which I really like. And the gear shifts get a little bit quicker in sport mode as well. You can instantly put them back into automatic mode as well, just by holding down the paddle shifter over to the right. And then of course Corsa just goes full on insane over here. So we're not going to use that right now, but you do have that ability as well. And of course in sport mode, like I mentioned, you can put the dampers back into comfort damper setting just via the touch of this button, which is a wonderful feature. But just carving around these outside back roads over here, I think it's just a really well balanced car. It handles well. It is a little bit on the heavier side, around like 4,600 pounds, but you know, it's a 2+2 convertible Grand Tourer, so it handles that weight pretty well. Actually, it's very low to the ground, very low center of gravity. We have And another great part about this car is that this one particularly has the upgraded adaptive driver assistance package. So if you are on a long grand tour somewhere, all you have to do is pop this little button over here on, press the centerpiece to activate the lane centering and lane keep assist, and voila, it is basically driving itself, which is really cool. It doesn't have like that automatic lane change thing, but you don't really need that in a driver's car at the end of the day. And I really like this other screen layout here, where it really shows you everything that's happening in this view. So if you like the tech side of this car, you can kind of see some more information regarding this adaptive driver system. If there's like a vehicle driving to the left or right of you on the highway as well, it'll show that, which is pretty nice. And it works very, very well coming to a stop start in traffic, and it's easy to access, turn on and off via just one touch of a button. And I like how they give you the ability to turn on and off your lane keep assist via the touch of that little stalk right there. So sometimes when you're driving, you don't really, well, really driving the car, you don't really want that lane assist kind of intervening all the time. So I like that you don't have to dig through menus to actually turn that off. And if you want a full map display, you got that as well. So this all new GranCabrio is very tech focused. Coming onto the highway as well on this on-ramp, lots and lots and lots of grip, lots of power as well. You know, even for this twin turbo V6, this thing kicks really, really hard and gets up to speed very quickly. Okay guys, out here on the highway, we're gonna pop it back into GT mode for a second, and let's put that adaptive cruise system to the test one more time in a real highway setting. So you can have it in a normal, just adaptive cruise control mode, or you can put it in this full, more lane keep assist style mode where it centers you in the lane. And this is what I really like for kind of more long distance driving. You have really easy accessibility to change your distance controls right here as well. And honestly, this system works great. I've tested across a variety of Stellantis products now, and I really have always been impressed. And there is more advanced versions of this system in more other vehicles, so I'm surprised that they didn't give it the full adaptive kind of hands-free mode. But you know, it's a Maserati at the end of the day. You should be driving the car, but road trip GT drives, that also works as well. Now there's a car gonna come by us right now, and I'm gonna show you guys how cool this visualization is on the infotainment screen right here, how it should pop up and notice that car going by. And it's a little Ghibli. Every car on there is a little Maserati Ghibli, which I think is a really cool touch that they did on there. But you can see how well this works, and if you need to fit around with something on your infotainment system real quick, make an adjustment, you have that ability to do so. And of course, this top does operate up and down and up to around 30 miles per hour as well. So if it is raining, you can pull over or something, go slow on a side road, and kind of have that ability to put it up and down without fully coming to a stop, which is also a nice touch. Now another great feature of this car, and this one has the upgraded Sonos Faber sound system, and I have to say, honestly really did impress me. There are these massive metal speakers around the entire interior, even up in the headliner over here and on the doors, and I was a little bit skeptical of this audio system at first. I had a small brief moment of testing it out in a Maserati Grecale about 2 years ago, but I really didn't get to kind of put it to the real usage here. But it is a fantastic audio system, and a lot of these more higher end cars that kind of focus more on performance, they don't always have the best audio systems. And we're seeing more and more like Bang & Olufsen and Bowers & Wilkins systems come into play, but this one honestly is quite good. So I'm going to play our audio test song right here. We have a haptic touch button over here to adjust our volume, or we can adjust it from our steering wheel over here. And we even have a special Sonos Faber visualizer screen over here, which is pretty nice. But have a listen to this. audio test there, guys, but I have to say it's very, very crystal clear. And if you are able to go in and adjust all the various modes in there, you can kind of switch to like a reference style mode if you want to kind of listen to your music in that way, or this mode that we have it in right now, which I think is much better for kind of more daily music. But really crystal clear audio. Bass is pretty strong as well. And a lot of the other adjustments are really great, kind of moving everything around in there. So I think a great audio system. If you do want to listen to some music on a road trip and not the Nettuno engine under the hood, you do have that ability in this car, which is a great touch. And like I mentioned before, turning off this adaptive driver system is super, super easy as well. It's just literally a press of a button over here. And it goes away for you. And again, I'm really impressed with the braking system on this car as well. Incredibly strong brakes, as you would expect out of a high-performance Maserati, especially this Trofeo version. And since we have the air suspension, as you can see, there's a little flashing indicator there right now. It's now raising back up as we're getting off the highway. So on the highway, it lowers itself down, gives you a little more aerodynamic and more lower center of gravity experience there. And in Corsa, it goes to an even lower setting that you can only access in Corsa for increased handling and stability, which I quite like a lot. Let's head back out onto the highway here for you guys. Just a second.